Hi, my beautiful souls. Is any on? I hope everybody's doing well. Time is not fluent. Time does not even exist as we know it. I want to thank you guys for liking my videos. I want to thank you guys for joining my channel. I know I haven't been on for a while. I've been very busy. Okay. I want to talk about when I stimulation. Okay, stimulation. Um, I've been wanting to get to this video for quite some time. Stimulation. Um, and when I realized that I was actually in a stimulation, you guys, even saying that out my mouth sounds crazy. Sounds very crazy. Sounds very crazy for real. Um, when I found out that I was in a stimulation, it was very profound. The reason why is because I'm psychic, I'm medium, and when you're psychic and medium, you can talk to the other side, right? um, you're more open, right, to receive messages um, and get messages, right? So the first time I realized I was in a stimulation, you guys, it was so profound. Okay, everything seemed similar to me, right? Similar. And then one day, I looked around and I said, "This none of this makes sense, right? How can I even make this make sense? How can I tell people that we're in a stimulation? Because they probably won't even believe me." Um, a lot of people say, "Oh, we're in the matrix," right? We truly are in the matrix, you guys. I can't even explain it, but how I knew I was in a stimulation, I'll get there. It was like I was saying, everything seemed familiar, okay, familiar, and I was just like, it was kind of like deja vu moment. Like, you know how you feel like you've been somewhere before and you experienced that experience before, and how can you be experiencing again, right? With that deja vu, like I did that, I was here, um, and I'm like, this doesn't make sense, you know. And I call on my spirit guides. I call on my spiritual team, which is my ancestors and my angels, and I said, let me see what I'm not seeing. Okay. And it was a profound moment, you guys. I'm still like in awe because I'm still trying to process this. I did a video about stimulation before. This is not my first video on stimulation, by the way. This is my second video on stimulation. Um, and you can't even capture it. Okay. You can't capture because time doesn't exist as we know it. Um, and if you look at it, the science, like in science and stuff, you guys, all of us been to science class, okay? Um, when you say time doesn't exist, people think you're crazy, okay? When you say you're in a stimulation, people think you're crazy, right? And you can't really show somebody that you're in a stimulation because you're seeing it with your own eyes, right? You're actually seeing it. You're trying to capture it, but you can't capture it. um, and I finally realized that when I asked my angels and ancestors, show me what I'm really seeing, okay? Because I couldn't capture it, okay? And then I realized that what I'm actually seeing is the stimulation that I'm in. But how is that even possible? Um, you guys, this is so profound. I don't even know how it's possible because I can't show somebody, okay? um, I can only tell you, okay? We're in a stimulation. I truly believe that. Maybe in time, as we know, time, people understand this. I came to understand this, and I'm glad that I came to understand this. And it's kind of scary to even think about being in a stimulation, right? Um, because it's like, do we exist, right? Or do we coexist, right? Because you can't measure time, right? Um, but just being in the space that I am energetically, right? It's very profound. Very profound to even understand that I'm in a stimulation. Because some people go their whole life and they may hear stimulation and not even completely understand when people say that we're in a stimulation. Um, and even if you look up the definition of stimulation, which I'm going to look up right now, you guys, it took me days to even process this. Okay. Now I see people on the other side, but am I really seeing people on the other side? Ooh, papa. Okay. So we look up stimulation. Okay. So you look up the word stimulation, right? Um, the action of pretending or deception. But who's deceiving and who's pretending? Are we pretending? Because I don't think we come into this realm of existence to pretend, right? I sort of look at it like this now, so I don't go crazy. Okay, I look at it like the stage is already set, right, and we're the character on the stages. Okay, that's how I'm trying to look at it going forward. Okay, so the production of a computer model of something, especially for the purpose of study. So my question is, the way they broke it down was the production of a computer model of something, especially for the purpose of study. But who's studying us? Okay, just saying. All right. The method was tested by computer stimulation. Okay. So a lot of times when you get that deja vu moment, you actually did it. Okay. Um, that's why you're having that deja vu moment. You actually did whatever you were doing again. Okay. If it makes sense. Um, wow. Now I know I may sound crazy, but just hang in there with me, you guys. Okay. So the question is, are we living in a stimulation? And the answer is yes. Okay. And a lot of people can't wrap their head around that. Okay. Because there's no scientific evidence. All right. Remember when I said when you study science, okay, my daughter's studying science right now. Okay. You have to go past the science, okay, to get to the truth. All right. Because in science, there's never evidence in science. Okay. If you believe that, you're a fool. Okay. All right. So are we living in a simulation? Yes, we are. And I'm going to say it one more time. Okay. So the simple meaning of a simulation is a model that mimics the operations of existence or propus system, providing evidence for decision making by being able to test different scenarios or process changes, right? But who's testing the scenarios, okay? And who's processing the changes? That can be coupled with virtual reality technology for more immersed experiences, right? It's kind of like a game, kind of like a stage. But who's operating the scenarios and who's operating the process of the changes? That's what I want to know. Okay. Now, examples of stimulation: weather forecasts, flight simulators used for training pilots and car crashing models. Okay. What is the meaning of human stimulation? This is actually on Google. Okay. Human stimulation occurs synchronicities when one person is purposely trained, interacts with the learner, often is a modified role play format to provide them with active learning opportunities to practice a skill set. So, in human stimulation is a activity, learning, opportunity to practice a skill set. So are we practicing a skill set? Just asking. Okay. Um, wow. Now, if you, this is on Google, okay? So, what is a stimulation in real life? Okay. So, I'm going to read this and tell you what I think, okay? So, what I have experienced personally, okay? Because I'm coming to you um in a way that I've experienced it, okay? Because I can't tell you what you experienced. I can only tell you what I have experienced, okay? So, coming from my experience, um, a stimulation is the limiting of the operation of a real world process or system over time. A stimulation requires the use of models. The models will represent the key characteristics or behaviors of the selective system of process, while the stimulation represents the evolving or of the model over time. Now, this is interesting because in science, not even in science, and I'm going to say this, in civics, not civics, physics. I'm sorry, physics. um, People have studied physics, science, psychology, and they still don't get to this um, understanding of a stimulation. Okay. And this is something I want to tap into more and more so I can truly understand my existence. Because I ask myself, why am I even here if I'm in a stimulation? Okay. Um, and can we even get out of a stimulation? I mean, this is crazy. Okay. Whew. So there's three types of stimulations: live, which I'm live right now; virtual, which I'm virtual right now. A live stimulation involves a real person operating a real system, which is me operating a real phone, involving individuals or groups, which I'm involving you guys. Okay. The second is a virtual, which I'm on a virtual stimulation, involving real people operating stimulation system. That would be a phone, a computer, a laptop, anything like that, because that's virtual. Or the holograms are virtual. Constructive stimulation involves stimulation people operate in stimulation system. Okay, which I'm a person. Um, Now it's interesting that Elon Musk was asked the same question. Okay, Elon Musk. Okay, he was asked if we were in a stimulation. Okay, because people are starting to say that we're in a stimulation, and it's true, we are in a stimulation. Okay, so he was asked this. Okay, and he says it's more likely than not that you live in a stimulation is not a physical universe. So this is what he's saying. Okay, now can we get out of a stimulation? You may be able to escape by stating, okay, so they're saying you may be able to escape a stimulation. Okay, um, uh, while others think it's possible to escape. Okay, and this is what I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so you may be able to escape by staying self-aware, which I'm very self-aware that I'm in a stimulation. Okay, very, 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 very self-aware that I'm in a stimulation. Okay, and to even process that, to even like, it's hard. It's hard to process that. Okay, because it's like, why am I even existed if I'm in a stimulation? Okay, so you may be able to escape by staying self-aware, achieving an abnormal amount of simple asking for a way out. Even if we are in a stimulation, you and your decisions matter. So does my decisions matter on how I'm in this stimulation? I have no idea, you guys. Okay, um and this is actually on Google, and I'm so shocked because it's the first time I ever found this. Okay, so there is a theory out there, and I'm telling you the theory is real. Okay, yes, we're in a stimulation, and I'm saying that once again. Now, it's interesting that this is even on Google because I didn't even know this. Okay, now what is a now when you put what is a reality stimulation, it's in um A real or image environment that is created by computer software. So that is very interesting. Okay. What is a stimulation in mental health? It's a real life scenario, but it's safe and controlled way. A stimulation has been used in medicine and surgery for years, and now mental health practitioners are adopting stimulations as common teaching methods. That's just if I guess if like psychologists study this. I don't know. Okay. Now there is a theory out there, and I'm going to tell you the theory is very true. Um, but there's no hard evidence, and I don't know if there's ever will be any hard evidence on this theory of stimulation, um, because you can't really, how can I say it? You can't really measure time, right? So how can there be any evidence on this? Time doesn't exist as we know it. All right, time is man-made. So if time is man-made, yes, you can time it with a man-made clock, but with real time, there is no real time. So how can you even measure uh the existence as we know it, our existence, our coexistence as we know it, you and me, right? Of information, of deja vu, um, as a stimulation or even a stimulation theory, right? Because this is a stimulation theory that's thrown out there in the ethers, okay? Um, in the universe. Um, and it's just a theory for now. But in time, it will not be a theory. And I truly believe that. Okay. Probably not even the time I'm going to be here. Okay. Will be evidence of that theory. Um, I'll be long gone before anybody even finds any evidence of this theory. Okay. Um, everything, okay. Everything is information, which we define as thought, right? We define information as thought as we know it as thoughts. But is it really thought? Ooh. The universe self uh, actualizes itself into existence via self stimulation using a mathematical code. This is what I really believe. And this is so crazy that I don't even want to say this. You guys, I did bad in math. Okay. I was never a math person. I never understood math. And I was like, whoever did math or whoever started math is crazy, is a mad person. Because um, math to me never made sense. Okay. And you can never make math make sense to me. Okay. To this day. All right. And I always said it was a man. Okay. Because men make things complicated, women make things easy, right? 2 + 2 is 4. Okay. And a lot of times with numbers, they also use letters. So why I'm going to this is not a theory, you guys. And it's interesting because then you have to go to artificial reality. Okay. Wow, this is a lot to take in. So I don't want to go too far on artificial reality, but I can go into that in my next video. I just want to stay in stimulation because I could be all over the place. That's how my mind is. Um, wow. So let's just stay into stimulation, okay? Um, this is interesting because I'm looking at stimulation and I will put it up here. For I thank you guys for following my channel. I thank you guys for liking my video. You guys probably like, what is going on? I've been trying to get this video out. There's a lot of videos I've been trying to get out, but I've been so busy. I've been doing reads and I have a life too, you guys. Okay. I'm not, you know, everybody has a life and everybody has a lot going on. But it's interesting if you break down um, the structure of stimulation itself, like on a computer model, right? Um, Now, I'm trying to explain this because it's hard to explain without evidence, right? And this may be a theory, right? But it's my theory that we're actually living in a simulation. I don't know how many times I got to say that, but we are. Um, and this is me seeing it as a psychic, okay? Um, Now, if we are living in a simulation, how is that even possible? Okay, I don't know. Okay, um, and I believe one day somebody will have proof that we're actually living in a simulation. Okay, it won't be my time. I truly don't believe that. Okay, I see it in the future. Okay, not my time. Okay, um, so this is just something to think about, you guys. A lot of us have deja vu moments, um, and we ask ourselves, did we do that, or were we that space time, or like that space where you be like, I did that already, and I remember that I did it again. Like we come in that reincarnation cycle, right? And we can't remember our Akashic records. We can't remember our existence, even our existence in our past life coming in, because some people can't remember that. Okay, it's like you come in and you don't remember nothing. And it's very interesting because think about it. That would be interesting with this simulation theory, because a lot of us come in not knowing our past lives, which we know that we had a past life. Okay. And we have little memories of that past life. Okay. And we don't have the whole story of those past lives, but we have a little bit memory, because there'd be certain things that would be like, okay, I did that before. Or I remember that. Okay. Um, and that's interesting. Okay. But I'm gonna leave it there. Okay. So this is not my theory, you guys. This is the actual what I have experienced personally, and we are in a simulation. And you guys can comment below on your thoughts about that. But what I've experienced in my life and what I've just so profound when I actually was like seeing it and trying to grasp it is very hard to grasp. Um, and you can't really show it to anybody. Okay. And things were too similar to me. Okay. In my real life. Okay. And my in the spiritual realm. Okay. So it's like, what is going on? Okay. How are we existing? And I know there's different realms, um, uh, portals. I call them portals. Okay. Portals. There's different portals of dimensions. Okay. Now, remember, I said in a previous video that I can actually see up to in the spiritual realm. Okay. The 12th dimension. Okay. In the spiritual realm. Understand that. In the spiritual realm. Okay. Not the physical, the spiritual. Okay. And that is when I see different entities. Okay. And this is 12 realms up and below. Okay. As above, so below. Okay. So there's different realms of existence. And what's happening now is the veil, they say the veil. I don't even know how to say it. I'm going to say realms. Okay. Realms. Um, and now, or veil, because some of you guys understand it as veil when I say a veil better than realms. What I'm noticing now, and I'm going to say this, and this is on my stimulation, um, the veil or the realm is so thin that we are seeing entities from lower and higher realms of existence. And I might have to do this on another video, because I'm going to go into depth with this, because what I have been seeing the last couple weeks um, is so profound. And I want to talk about it more and more because people are not actually understanding what they're seeing. And I want to explain to you guys what you're actually seeing, what I'm seeing on the spiritual realm. Okay. And that is the higher realms and the lower realms and in between the veils. Okay. But I will do that in another video. I don't want to go onto another topic because I can do that easily. So I'm just going to stay on stimulation. So what I have experienced in stimulation is very real. Um, and that is my experience on the spiritual realm and the physical realm. All right, you guys, this is Jennifer Felix. I hope everybody's doing well. And I'm sending you guys nothing but love and pure light. Love and pure light. And people are like, oh, she always says love and light. Like, that's a bad thing to say, love and light. I'm sending you love, and I'm sending you nothing but light. I'm going to continue to say love and light, okay? Until I come up with something else, okay? I'm sending you guys pure love and pure light. Ashe.